Welcome to another video from 254 Repair. In this video, we're going to cover the repair of a Galaxy Note 3 from beginning to end with all the details. We're going to start with the basics. We're going to test the screen. We see the lights on the bottom, but no image on the LCD. So we know the LCD is defective and the phone is on. So we're going to start with the first thing will be remove the back and remove the battery, and we're going to go ahead and remove the screws from the back cover. Now that we finished removing the screws, we're going to go ahead and use our prying tool. We're going to stick it in between the frame and the back cover of the phone, and we're going to pry it apart from the frame. Now the next step is to set that logic board free. Remove all the connectors for the LCD, charging port, home button, and all other flex cables that are connected to the logic board. So now the charging port and home button are disconnected. We're going to remove the coaxial cable for the cellular signal. And now the screw that secures the headphone jack. We make sure we put that screw separate from all the other ones, since this is the only one that is different from the other ones. Now we remove the S Pen sensor connector. I'm assuming that's something that we can call it. That top connector receives the signal from the S Pen, and the logic board is free. So we're going to go ahead and remove it, put it aside, and continue with the small components that are on the frame and LCD. So here we got the new screen. We're going to start transferring the small components. We start with the headphone jack, which also has the earpiece connected to it. So carefully, we're going to remove that earpiece from the frame. Now we're going to place it into the new screen and move on to remove the vibrator. When removing the vibrator, you got to be really careful because the adhesive is sometimes really strong, and also the home button is part of that same piece, that same circuit. So with a prying tool, you're going to remove the adhesive between the home button and the frame and start prying it away from the frame. Okay, now that we got it away from the old screen, we're going to go ahead and place it into the new one immediately. Make sure that the home button is properly placed into the bracket that it goes. Otherwise, if it's not centered, there will not be a good connection. It will not click properly when you press the external button, the plastic button. Okay, we got it in there. So now we gonna transfer the proximity sensor and front facing camera. These two are covered by a metallic plate that secures them in place. So we're gonna remove that metallic plate with our tweezers, and once we do, we're gonna go ahead and remove those circuits. When removing the metallic plate, it might take off flying in the air, so make sure that you put your finger over it or you remove it with a twister so it doesn't fly across your room or something, and then you don't, there's no way that you can find it. Okay, we got the sensors in place and the front facing camera, so we're going to secure them again with the same metallic plate that we just removed, and that completes that step. Now, here's the most delicate part of this procedure. You're going to remove the charging port. The charging port is usually glued to the frame really good. So when you removing it, if you make any dent, any bend on that circuit, it's going to damage it. So you want to try to remove it. You're going to remove it without bending it in any way, shape, or form. If you do so, you're probably gonna turn on your Note 3 and then you're gonna realize that it doesn't charge or it gives you some kind of warning about the battery being too hot or something like that. And that is because you have damaged this circuit. So when removing it, make sure that you don't bend it. Use a prying tool, a really tiny flat screwdriver to get it off the frame. Okay, we're done with the old screen, so we're gonna go ahead and place the charging port into the new one, arrange the flex cables the way they're supposed to go, and get ready to put that logic board back in place. When you put the logic board back in place, make sure that you lift all those flex cables, that none of them get stuck under the logic board. Um, I know it sounds kind of given, but make sure that you don't leave any flex cables under the logic board and then press it really hard and damage either the logic board or the flex cables. We go ahead and secure all the flex cables into the logic board. We press down the LCD, the S Pen sensor, the headphone jack, and front facing camera. And at this moment, we're going to go ahead and put the battery, test the screen. We turn it on and see what happens. Obviously, we will not be at this stage in the video if we didn't know that the screen was good. One last tip. Um, wow, look at that. That's magic. The back cover is there. No, that's video editing. Um, but anyway, uh, we just cut it out because we don't want you watching this for another 30 minutes just to see us put the cover. So go ahead and replace all the screws back into the back cover, and this pretty much concludes the repair. Don't forget to give us a like and subscribe to our channel, and thank you very much for watching.